All right. I think it's about time we go on ahead and start reviewing this NXT thing. Because if I don't do it now, who's to tell when I'm ever going to start this? I've been wanting to talk about NXT for months now. Probably ever since WrestleMania weekend, I've been wanting to get back into talking about NXT. But I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been waiting on that perfect video to give to you guys to start and introduce me reviewing NXT and talking about NXT. Now, that overview of NXT might still be coming down the road. It's just not coming soon. I also have ideas that I have laid out for what I want to do with NXT. And that right there is not a one-man team, so I don't know when that is coming out. So I figure if I'm going to start reviewing NXT and I'm going to keep waiting on things, it's never going to start. So let's just fucking start it. Hi, everybody who may be new here. There might be some people out there in the world that's looking for NXT reviews. I'm a wrestling review guy, mainly WWE. Sometimes we have watch parties and stuff in New Japan if you're new. Got some stuff down in the description for you. My Twitter is @Wyzatv if you want to complain to me or praise me or whatever. God damn, I just stole that from Select Daddy. Fuck. Shit. Alright. Can't take it back now. It's out there. Could edit it, but fuck that. Yeah, I do curse. Not a family-friendly channel. Make sure you listen to me with your headphones on. Twitter is in the description @Wyzatv, WYZANOW. Subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Make sure you hit the gimmick bell so you get notified when I drop a video. Anywho, I will be doing NXT going forward every week, whether I do it on a Thursday or I put it out on a Friday. Whenever I put it out, it'll come out. So trust me on this one, and it'll be in this form. Probably won't be live. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this NXT because as I'm watching it, I came across what I believed was the perfect match. And we're going to talk about that once we get to it. Hint, it's the HIDEO Itami Oni Lorcan match. I really felt as though that was a perfect match. But we're going to tackle this thing from top to bottom. And these reviews probably, I know I say this all the time and they end up going long anyway. But NXT is such a short show that these reviews probably won't go too long. It probably is going to span between 10 to 15 and at max 20 minutes. So if you need some background noise to listen to, or we're about 2.5 minutes in and I haven't started reviewing this show. Sorry, but fuck, I got to introduce this shit because god damn it, I want to do an introduction video, but I ain't got time for that. So let me get my shit in. All right. So, you know what? Let's just do it. We start off this show with Heavy Machinery versus formerly known as the Monster, Dylan Miley, who to me, now I want you to rock with this, right? Because this guy looks like somebody. He looks like a cross between, what was that guy's name in NXT who had his head shaved? He lost a hair versus hair match against Enzo. Was it Sylvester Lefort or something? It wasn't Sylvester Lefort, but it was some guy that was with Sylvester Lefort if it wasn't him. And he lost his hair in that match, and he ends up looking like this guy, Dylan Miley, who has a new name that I don't fucking remember his name. He looks like a cross between that guy and Psycho Sid. Yeah, and he is one brolic, tanky son of a bitch. But let's talk about Heavy Machinery a little bit, because they've been campaigning to get a match against AOP for a while now. And it seems like most tag teams don't fear AOP. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I got you on silent. It seems like most teams don't fear AOP. And I think that that's the wrong thing to get across when we're talking about the Authors of Pain. When you look at the Authors of Pain, they're two big, girthy, brolic, just came home dudes. And everyone should fear them, especially if you're smaller than them. Now, I'm excluding Heavy Machinery from this. But every other tag team should have some sort of fear, just like the Revival did when going against AOP. No one should be wanting to face this team, again, if you're smaller than them, no one should want to face this team head on. The Revival, in order to keep their heat, because you got the Revival as heels, you got AOP, their heels, how do you get the Revival who's getting over with the crowd to keep their heat or to not have heat, but to maintain the heel role, you find a way to get the upper hand on these guys. Now, there's no way you attack them head on, so what they would do is they would attack them from behind. And once they start losing that momentum, they back off and run away. You know, that's heel shit. That's what heels do. But it seems like well, not the Revival, because they showed fear. And there's not many tag teams in NXT right now. But Heavy Machinery and DIY just show absolutely no fear in AOP. And that's not the right message to get across when it pertains to AOP, because they're supposed to be monster killing machines. And we still don't know what the fuck their purpose is. Like, what exactly is their deal? You know, we got Paul Ellering, who still has yet to tell us this. Is this as if he's still reading some nursery rhyme book? I don't know their angle there. And I'm spending way too much time talking about this than I'm supposed to be. Let's get back to the match a little bit. The Dylan Miley, I'm going to call him Dylan Miley for now because I cannot remember the new name that they gave him. And I've been saying, you know, since I first saw him, there's no way you look at this guy and he has the name Dylan Miley. I don't know who gave him that name to begin with. They should be taken out back and dealt with. But he was in there with Tucker Knight. They was having a decent little back and forth. But Dylan Miley started no-selling and then just started pummeling on this guy. His tag team partner, I think some type of Andrews guy. Some I don't want to say, yeah, fuck it. Some jobber guy who, they put jobber guys with Dylan Miley as tag team partners because that seems to be the story for Dylan Miley for now, is his tag team partners can't keep up with what he do. And because of his tag team partners, he ends up losing matches. So he goes in there and destroys them, which is going to, you know, set aside that he's going to be a singles guy. But at least what they're doing here is giving a reason on why he's going to be a singles guy. And I like that. But once this guy tagged in, or tagged himself in, as they say, because I could have sworn that it was a mutual tag. But instantly, Tucker Knight got the upper hand. Then they just, you know, Heavy Machinery started tag teaming this guy, beat him down 1, 2, 3 after they hit their Collider. Is it called the Collider, the Crusher, or something? Their finisher, where one guy who has the Russian name holds him up, and Tucker Knight runs to the ropes, runs back, and jumps on the Russian guy. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. We got to get some names, some marketable names, WWE. NXT, so we got to get some marketable names, because these names, I can't even say them, let alone pronounce them, or pronounce them, let alone say them, because there's marketability here. I don't know what we're doing. Anyway, big guy on top of a big guy on top of a little guy. That's what happened. So after the match, they left. Dylan Miley comes in and destroys this guy. Then he leaves. All right. So we figured out Dylan Miley's gimmick, his storyline, why he is the way he is, how he's gonna get to where he's getting. We got it. Great. Heavy Machinery, we figured out what they want and how they're gonna get there. Great. Got it. Boom, bow, bam, damn, bam. Next, we got a Rowdy Strong promo. Now this I thought was gonna be the highlight of the show. And it was, but wasn't, but was, but wasn't. Rowdy Strong comes out and cuts a promo, thanking the crowd. He wanted to talk to the crowd genuinely and from the heart. He wants to tell them, hey, you know, I really never let anybody in on me and my whole story and everything. You guys are the first. Crowd's chanting, thank you, Rowdy, and blah, blah, blah. You know, he's talking about how he got a beautiful wife and a handsome newborn son. And he wants the NXT title. And he doesn't say why he wants the NXT title. It doesn't matter, like, because he's like, he had the #1 contendership match against Itami just before the last takeover. And, you know, he's just saying, I want the title. You know, like, here's a disconnect that I have with brands and titles, is they don't tell us why the title is important to them or why they feel as though they need it. Bobby Roode told you why the title is important to him and why he needed it. He wants to make this Bobby Roode's NXT. He wants to bring in all the corporates and all the jackets and all the suits and have them sitting out in the crowd. He wants to change NXT. And in order to do that, he has to be at the top. So he gives you a reason why this title is important to him. Rowdy Strong's just like, yeah, I want the title. Well, why? Why is it important to you? I don't know. But anyways, as he's in the middle of his promo, Bobby Roode's music hits. He takes a while. He comes out. And I'm like, I know he's going to come out with the waterworks. He comes out. He's holding tissue to his eyes. He starts crying on the mic, and I'm like, yo, this dude, Bobby Roode. And then he goes on to cut a evil, mean, just, oh my God, promo. Bro, this promo, Vince Russo bro right there. This promo is the best Bobby Roode promo that he has had in NXT, and it's not even close. He straight bitched Roderick Strong out. Straight just sunned him. He comes out and he says, he says you have a mildly hot wife, mildly hot. Then he says his son, his newborn son, is somewhat normal. A somewhat normal son. And he says, you win sometimes. You know, it's finally you learned how to start winning. Took you a while. But in order for you to get a shot at this, you have to earn these. I don't just give out shots all willy-nilly. That's not what I do. But, and he put him in his place as a loser. And he says, you know, Rowdy, here's how this is going to go.
The fact is, you're a good hand. Okay? So do yourself a favor. Just stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane. Hey, and maybe one day you and I can take a little selfie together and you can go home and show your little guy, hey, there's the champ and there's your old man. I'd do that for you. So let me give you a little last piece of advice. Do yourself a favor and don't play the Bobby Roode lottery, because at the end of the day, you're just not man enough to win. Best of luck, kid.
If I'm Roddy Strong, there's no way I let him continue this promo. There's no fucking way. Bobby Roode, who stayed up on the entrance ramp, never came down. Keep your heat because you keep that distance between you. You don't get up in his face and do it because that's not what heels do. There's no way, as a babyface, Roddy Strong should have let him finish that promo. He should have beamed down there and just go after him. You have to. You absolutely have to. But he just stood there and took it. He stood there and took it. And I'm like, woo! My God. Wouldn't be me. Wouldn't be me. Now, let me continue on with Roddy Strong a little bit here. I think that there's a reason, at least for me, why Roddy Strong isn't getting over with me. Now, his ring work is pristine. His ring work is great. But as a character, I think that what they're doing with him is not going to give him longevity as far as being over with the crowd. Right now, the crowd is behind him because they accept his story, which I personally thought his story was just a bunch of, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. How exactly does this guy's mother shoot his father in the fucking guts with a fucking AK-47 shotgun rocket launcher exploder gimmick thing? How do you shoot his father in the stomach, yet the mother comes out being the babyface here? What? Whatever. So his story, I don't care about it, which means his character and persona and gimmick, I don't care about, because he still doesn't have a gimmick or character. I guess his character is, hey, feel sorry for me because I gave you a story that I never told anybody. Okay. What else you got, champ? Oh, that was another thing Bobby Roode said. What else you got, kid? So that doesn't have wheels, at least for me. There's one way that they could do this, and it would help Roderick Strong out a lot. And they got to go the route of Sami Zayn, Ty Dillinger. Roddy Strong has to start losing big matches, and you have to want to get behind him. You have to want him to win those big matches that he just can't seem to get over the hump. And then he finally gets over the hump. You know, you got to get that crowd invested in him because they're invested in his story. Now you have to get them invested in him because he has an underdog story. His story is that of an underdog. So can we get his character and his matches over as that of an underdog, or are we going to keep this guy on top? Weird, I know. Moving along, we got Nikki Cross outside on top of a building acting crazy. I love Nikki Cross. But I'm wondering, and by the way, side note Jones, when we do these NXT reviews, try to keep it spoiler free. Like, I don't read spoilers for NXT. Try to keep the comment section spoiler free. Now, granted, there's not going to be many people watching this, but I wanted to be here so I could start the catalog for NXT, and I want to get the ball rolling. So I don't expect many people to even watch this, but I'm going to be one thing that I'm consistent with. Why is Nikki Cross not with Sanity anymore? Like, can we, like somewhere along the lines, a few months ago, she stopped being around Sanity. And the reason why I just prefaced this by saying, you know, try to keep it spoiler free is because I was in my Discord. Shout out to my Discord. I'll have a link for that in the description as well. I was in my Discord and I said it last week that Nikki Cross just doesn't seem to be with Sanity. And of course, fucking Jody. I fucking hate you, Jody. Jody comes in and says, "Oh, well, you know, if you read the spoilers, you will see why." And I'm like, "All right, shut up. That don't want to hear. Shut that. Stop. Don't want to know it." So yeah, she's not with them, and it's something that I noticed a while ago. And as usual, she's just not with them. So we get that, and we got the triple threat elimination match coming with them next week. Now, for me, I'm like, why are we having a triple threat match when Asuka pinned both of them at the same time? Like, she literally hit the bitch with the Shining Wizard, dragged Ruby Riot's carcass over to Nikki Cross and laid across the both of them and pinned them both. Why are we having another triple threat match and elimination match this time? Like, you want her to beat them one by one this time? Like, what's the deal here? I don't know. Then we got Peyton Royce. Skip that. Fuck her. I just don't care for Peyton Royce. She's annoying. Both her and Billie Kay, their gimmick, their character, the whole thing is annoying. And for me, they got get off my TV heat. It's not good heat for me. I don't care that they're heels. Hey, they're heels. You're not supposed to like them. I don't like them, and I don't want to see them. Yeah, that's a different type of heel. That's I don't want you to exist. I don't even dislike you. You don't exist to me type of heel. That's the heat that they got with me. They don't exist. So fuck this match. Moving along, we got Dolmas, who, man, for me, this guy is a star. I think there's money, huge. I think there's huge money in Dolmas. I think that what they wanted to do with Alberto Del Rio back when they first started out, they can do with him, and it'll be $1 million. It'll be $1 million. Now, he doesn't have the height that Del Rio had, but he definitely has a look. He has the physique. He has the personality, the charisma to pull it off. You get this guy a ring announcer. Well, you can't get another Ricardo Rodriguez, but he could definitely fit into that gimmick. But nonetheless, he's out there with his chicks because his gimmick is he doesn't care if he wins or loses as long as he's having a good time afterward. So he's out. He got about a few chicks surrounding him, and he's just walking. He's about to go knees deep. And he gets slapped by a chick who's like, "Is this what you've become?" And he's like, "Yes." And she slaps him. I have a question. Was that Rosita from TNA? Was that? Now, I know Rosita's married or effing with somebody that's in WWE. Who is it that she's messing with? I don't want to spend too much time thinking about who it is. Somebody in the comment section, let me know. I'll probably have my answer by then, but in the comment section, let somebody else know. But I think it was Rosita that smacked him. It looked like Rosita from back in the day when I actually used to watch TNA. Moving along, the perfect match. Here we go. And for me, this should have been the main event. Because, you know what? Let me talk about the main event first. Because I'm going to go to that Itami and Lorcan match after. Because that, for me, was the fucking main event. Killian Dane and No Way Jose should have been in this slot. It was a basic match. You know, he sent Sanity away. I guess that they're trying to put some stock in Killian Dane and show him as just a flat-out beast. Excuse me. I get that. I understand it. Boom, bam, done. All right. There's really nothing to say. The match was fine. You know, it wasn't a bad match whatsoever. It was actually a pretty good match. But again, with there not really being like any heavy incentive in story with this, there's no reason for it to be main event. So, before I talk about ITAMI'S match, they showed a video package of Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre. Well, I'm working my way backwards, right? So they showed the video package with him. I'm waiting for him to come back. It's been a while since we've seen him in the match. You know, his debut match and his matches that came after were some badass matches, man. I really liked them. Hopefully he comes back with a finisher, or a new finisher, I should say. Waiting for that to happen. He's really, like, stupidly good. Drew McIntyre, that is. Ember Moon interview. Okay. All right. Okay. We can't do this character with her. There's such a huge disconnect between her character and her. Her character and her personality. Her character, and then when she's backstage doing interviews. Because when she comes out to the ring and the entrance and the whole thing, she's like this war priestess vampire girl gimmick girl Twilight thing with like red eyes or some shit, you know, and she's like the war princess gimmick. All right, you want to tell us why you like got the colored contacts in your eyes for your matches but nowhere else? Because when you're backstage doing interviews or you're doing backstage segments and stuff, your eyes are my color. You know, you look pretty normal. You talk extremely normal. So what's the deal with the character with the war priestess, princess, vampire, Twilight? What the fuck is that? They got to repackage her character, or they got to figure out what her character is, and she needs to ride the gimmick. She needs the gimmick, and she needs to ride it out or be a normal girl. Personally, I think she should be a normal girl because this thing that they do with her hair, oh my God, it's bad. Her hair looks terrible. Terrible. Oh, God, her hair looks bad. What are they doing with her? But she vows that when she gets another opportunity, because apparently you can't say title shot in WWE no more. It has to be an opportunity. But apparently she wants another title shot, and when she gets it, she says she's going to win. So right now, her stock has fallen with me. I don't care to see her win that title right now. I'll wait to see what happens with that women's tournament. Now, let's talk about my main event of the evening. And what I think is, now I'm not saying this is the best match ever or anything like that. I'm saying this is the perfect match because it followed a perfect formula. First of all, I'm saying it now, I'm going to stop sleeping on this Oney Lorcan. Like, I knew Oney Lorcan was alright. He grew on me, but now I'm like full blown, oh my God, this motherfucker is good. Like, you know, my Discord, you know, they shouting out Oney Lorcan a lot, and I always thought that they were trolling or whatever, but no, this fucker is good. Like, really good. The issue with him is just his look, and there's nothing he can do about that. Then he has a troll name to go along with it, and there's nothing he could do about that because they gave him the name. But the motherfucker has grown on me. HIDEO Itami versus Oney Lorcan. So it started out as your standard match, but somewhere along the line, you know what? Even before the match, I kind of sensed it. I sensed the heel turn, and you could see it when he's coming out. When his music hit, something just dawned on me. I said, you know what? His music, it just sounds heelish. But he's a face with this music, you know? And I'm looking at him and the way he's looking at the crowd and the reaction that he's getting to the crowd, which is just not there anymore. And it made me go back to when Phil Bacon won the title in Osaka. Was it Osaka, Japan? Wherever it was in Japan. Beast in the East house show. And that was supposed to be for Itami. And I'm like, man, it sucks that he missed the boat on this one because I don't see him getting as over as that ever again. That right there, like, he was extremely over. And he still, at the time, hadn't hit the GTS. So I'm like, oh, man, he might not get there again. But I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, why is he, like, he's radiating the aura of a heel. I'm pretty sure I'm gone over 20 minutes by now, but fuck it. Like I said, background noise, listen to me on the go, just whatever. So I got heel vibes from him. Oney Lorcan comes out, crowd's behind Oney Lorcan a little bit. And before this match started, I said, man, this match is going to be stiff because Oney works stiff and Itami works stiff. You got two guys that work stiff. Itami usually holds it back because, you know, his guy that he's working with might not work stiff. I mean, when he got in there with Bobby Roode actually worked stiff with him, but not too many people want to go toe-to-toe with him working stiff. Oney Lorcan will. So I said, this is going to be a stiff match. And it was. But that's not why I say it's a perfect match. It started out basic, you know, both of these guys just wrestling, just a normal wrestling match. And here's where it took a turn and it became the perfect match. Oney Lorcan started chopping at Itami's chest. And Itami no-sells it Japanese style. Like, I'm talking about not even taking a step back. Not even moving. Lorcan with the chop. Boom! And Itami just stands there like a fucking brick house. And he did it about 3 times. He's like, come on. And he did it again. He's like, come on. And he just could not move Itami. So then Itami just fucking blows his fucking back in. Or his chest in, I should say. And, you know, he hits him with that, I don't know what you call this. It's like a combination with, like, you know, it's like a face, well, he hit him with first he hit him with a stiff-ass punch to the face. Then he gave him a chop to the face, backhand, goes to the ropes. He hit him with something else, but then Lorcan manages to roll him up. He gets a 2 count. So then Itami, they both get back up, and Lorcan just starts smacking him in the face. Dumb hard, he smacked him 3 times. Then he grabs him by his chin. Now, I'm trying to think of a video game or a cartoon character that does this, and it's pretty common, where you'll see a guy hold someone up by their neck and they're off their feet. Lorcan has him like that, but by his chin. Now, granted, he doesn't have him off his feet because they're about the same fucking size, but he's just holding his fucking chin, and then he smacks him 3 more times, just boom. I'm like, yo! And everything was just happening so fast. And the look on Lorcan's face and the crowd, see, here's what's key. Because Lorcan is firing up, Itami cut off his heat. When Lorcan was firing up the first time, the crowd was getting behind him, Itami cut him off. Then he got the roll up, then he goes back into the slaps, this time in his face, and it's affecting him. He grabs him up by his chin, and then he's slapping him in the face again. The crowd is all the way behind him. So then, after he lets go of his face, he gives him back-to-back tiger uppercuts. Bro, like, runs to the rope, uppercut, fall, gets back up, runs to the rope, uppercut, fall. And at this point, Itami just has to fucking bail, right? So he pretty much just gets knocked out of the ring almost. You know, he rolled out, but it wasn't a powder. It was like a momentum type of deal. And Lorcan goes to the top ropes, and he does, like, you know, a little flip dive on him. So the crowd is insane for what's going on because this comeback was just so freaking good. And the crowd is just popping like crazy. And the way Itami was selling it, because again, first Itami, you gotta go back to where he was chopping and slapping at Itami and he was no selling it. Now he's got him to, you know, fall down and get out of the ring. So it's paid off now. You've paid off that no-sell that Itami did. So he does the flip. Crowd gets hot. Crowd is going insane. He throws Itami. Now, granted, in the very, very beginning, the crowd was quiet a little bit. But now they got him. They got the crowd hook, line, and sinker now. They worked this crowd. They worked this crowd to a T. Now, again, that's why I'm saying this is the perfect match. He throws Itami back in the ring. And now Itami is like favoring his leg a little bit. He's favoring his leg. Lorcan gets back in. Now, the ref goes to check on Itami just real quick. It was real quick. He goes to look at Itami, which, and Lorcan starts to come, like he starts approaching Itami. Referee, puts his hand up, like, hold on a second. And it was so quick, Itami just kicks him right in his thigh. Now he took out his leg. So now the crowd is like, huh? Because the crowd wasn't really ready to boo Itami. They just wasn't really behind him at first. But now the crowd is booing. Well, not booing yet. Some of them are. Most people, they're like, what? They weren't ready to accept this yet. So he's like, oh, okay. I don't have all of you understanding what's going on yet. Okay. I got you now. He proceeds to beat the piss out of Oney Lorcan. Picks him up for a GTS. Hits him with it. Now, commentary is doing a good thing here because Nigel McGuinness said when he first kicked that leg from under him, and they're like, oh, that's, they're like, Itami, that's not, typical Itami. And Nigel's like, oh, that's a smart thing to do. And he's like, that's not the Itami that you guys know, but I've known this guy for a long time. That's the one I know. And what that does is it sells Itami as, you guys knew Itami this way, but I know Kenta. Here's the guy that you guys didn't get to experience in NXT this entire time. Here's the guy. They're planting the seeds for what I'm saying right now. Here's the guy that you guys took for granted and you never got to see him show this hand. Now, granted, I still don't think that we're going to get Kenta. And by that, I mean, we're not going to get the type of guy that worked in Noah. We're not going to get that guy. But he's going to be stiffer. He's going to be more heel. And Nigel's just telling that story. He's getting you prepared for it with his commentary. He's like, I know this guy. I know exactly what I'm watching. So he picks him up for that GTS and he hits him with it. So now you have Percy who's like, oh, well, that's it. It's done. Go on ahead and pin him. It's over. And he goes over to him and he's picking him up. Now, Oney Lorcan is God for this because he straight sold death. He was gone. Like, straight dead weight. Itami could barely even pick this guy up. He's just fucking, as he's picking him up, he's just making the crowd soak it all in. Like, yeah, I'm a heel now. And he's picking him up slow. He wants the crowd to like really, really digest what's happening. And he picks him up for another GTS. And this time when he hits it, I love the way Lorcan sold it. Because he didn't come straight down. He came down as if he didn't have control of it. Like he's tumbling forward out of Itami's hands as he's going for the knee. So now they're like, oh God, that's two, like, all right, we could put a stop to this. It's over now. You can go ahead and pin it. That's commentary. And Itami's like, I'm not done. He goes to pick him up for a third one. A third GTS. And by this time, like, now the GTS, like, forget selling death. This motherfucker's just completely buried. Because when he goes for the GTS this time, Oney Lorcan just completely falls forward. And Itami pretty much turns this into a jumping knee to the face with this GTS. And Oney Lorcan, the way he fell, is like he just completely spun around because his body was lifeless. This is one of those things that you have to, like, after listening to me talk about this, you have to go back and watch it with all these details that I gave you. Because it'll make you, like, really, really appreciate this heel turn, how they worked the crowd, how they got the crowd, like, from lukewarm, well, from cold to lukewarm to hot to completely cutting him off. Because he was about to go for a 4th GTS, and out comes Cassius Ohno. So now the crowd has a let me up. Now the crowd's like, okay, all right, we have hope. Oh, let's breathe, because you're holding your breath like, what the fuck is going on? Cassius Ohno, who had that run-in with him backstage at TakeOver, he comes out to save the day. The crowd is like, they excel a little bit, and they're like, oh. And Cassius Ohno is like, all right, let me reason with him. I got this. Dude, like, what's up with you? And yada, yada. And Itami's just getting pissed off. Like, why are you even in my face? And he just pushes him. And Cassius Ohno, the way he sells is like, oh my God, I really don't want to do this, but you need a wake-up call. And he fucking pushes him down to the mat. And Tommy sits there for a bit, and I'm like, please don't powder. Please don't powder. Please don't powder. Please, please, please don't powder. And he just soaked it in. He soaked it in. And then he left. Now, the reason I didn't want him to powder is because I want him to be that heel, but I want him to be that badass, I'm in your face, I don't give a fuck heel. But I can understand 2 reasons on why they would do this. One, because you want to establish him as a bona fide heel, which means, okay, he powdered, that's part of it. I don't want him to be a chicken shit cowardly heel. He's too badass for that. He doesn't even talk. In order to be a chicken shit coward heel, you have to be able to cut a promo. Now, granted, Itami's English is okay. I would say better than Nakamura. He's not going to give you that promo that could back up being a cowardly heel, though. He's not. He has to be a badass, non-talking ass kicker. That just has to be him. So I didn't want him to powder here. But they wanted to establish, like, yes, this is a bona fide heel turn here. So I get it. And I'm okay with that. And it also left it open-ended for you to want to see these 2 guys. Excuse me. So that's where I'm going to leave this NXT review. We did go long because I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys the heads up that we're going to be doing this. Once again, not expecting much on this at all. But I want to make sure that I start building my NXT catalog so that we can start going forward with it. Let me give you guys a heads up on some stuff. I am still not a full-time user. Hell, I'm not even a YouTuber. I'm not even a part-time YouTuber. I'm very sporadic with it. One of the reasons why that is because I don't get paid by YouTube anymore. I don't get anything from it. So in order for me to be able to even do this much, I got to go out and work. I'm out working a whole lot. If you don't want to hear if you're finished with the NXT review, you don't want to hear all of whatever. Now, I don't have there's a reason why I'm saying what I'm about to say, but if you just want to hear the NXT review, thank you for being here. Thank you for riding this out with me. This next part is just for the people that are interested, because I want to talk about Patreon a little bit, which I do have in the description. So if you want to go, you can check it out. Yada, yada, bang, bang, bye. See ya. Real quick. So yeah, I don't get paid by YouTube, so I can't really be on YouTube. I get this on Twitter a lot. I get it in comment sections. I get it while I'm doing live stream reviews that I'm not even hosting. Blackjack has to freaking host them for me because my damn internet is off. I did open up a Patreon because there's so much that I want to do, but I can't do it. I really can't. So I opened up a Patreon, and hopefully it could get me back up and running with YouTube. So far, and it's the Patreon, I had it for a while now. I just never officially launched it, and I still don't even count this as an official launch, because all of the projects that you are going to see on that Patreon, I still don't have them prepared yet, because again, as I said earlier, not a one-man team. But the perks and all of this, the ideas and things that I have, some of those are on Patreon. You can check them out. If you want to pledge, you want to help the channel out, you want to get it back up and running, completely on you. Again, YouTube doesn't pay me. I don't get paid by YouTube pretty much whatsoever. So that explains my sporadic being here. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep outside of YouTube. I'm just going to keep working my ass off, get caught up with everything, and eventually return back to YouTube once I get everything squared away. But I guess in order to expedite that, check me out on Patreon. And if you want to pledge, go on ahead and do so. Again, thank you for being here. Nonetheless, drop a like on the video. If there's nothing else you could do, just drop a like on the video. Leave a comment because comments actually do help, as well as those likes. And I'll see you guys later for another video or whatever the hell I'm going to do. Damn, we're at 40 minutes. Bye.